You're terrified.
Hour 2 Overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes, Doug, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan. Massive weekend, right? We got the Raps in action tonight, the Leafs in action in Winnipeg tomorrow. 2 NFL games on Sunday. We believe Taylor Swift will be down there, right? You have to believe she'll be in Baltimore. Can't stop now, but
she'll be there.
Will the brother be there? You know, I thought I saw something online because I think Mahomes' dad was in the suite, and it may have just been like a gotcha clickbait type of headline, but I guess he was asked, like, do you want to be in the same suite as, like, T. Swift and Jason Kelce? And he's like, I hope not. Like, I'd prefer to just watch the game in peace somewhere else because it's just
it is a circus. It's a circus. That's what's come, because it used to be you just look at the box and it's like, oh, there's Mahomes' wife. And, you know, what was that show with a quarterback on Netflix or whatever? You'd see her sitting in the box and chatting with some of the other wives. And now there's dancing and waves and a guy with no tarp on. And, like, it's just crazy. It's a circus now. And it's not going to get any smaller now with the, you know, Super Bowl right around the corner. Like, it's
what do you guys think Mahomes' wife likes more? Being married to Mahomes or now being friends with Taylor Swift?
Oh. It should be still married, but I hear it might be T. Swift. Like, she is.
Dude, I honestly think, because I'm not going to judge her because I don't know her, but she seemed like she was really involved, and she was always on, like, social media about her husband. She was just that wife that's heavily involved.
Yeah,
that's the sense I got. And when Taylor Swift came, I'm like, she's gonna sink her teeth into that, and she's gonna force herself to be besties with Taylor, and she's right in there.
I think they're besties. Like, I bet you they're right there. And listen, that'd be a pretty cool. I mean, that'd be an unbelievable suite. Like, Zach Collaros was there. I saw that Zach Collaros was back there.
What's his connection?
I guess he and Travis, I think, were like roommates in college, like really good friends, I guess. So, you know, he was down there. He was in there. I saw, like, TSN was posting it, like, there's Zach Collaros in the background. Like, the suite was just wild. You got, you know, Taylor Swift, Jason Kelce, no shirt. And I guess they were saying on their podcast that Jason had never met Taylor Swift. That was the introduction.
Oh my God!
And this guy's got track pants on, no shirt, diving into the stands. And
yeah, that's the old text. By the way, you're going to beat my brother. And you walk in, the guy's got no gear on, and he's got a hairy chest, and he's had 100 beers,
and he has the boiler hanging out, and he's fine
all of it.
He's
like,
awesome.
But you know what? He seems like a genuine guy. You know, you see all these stories. I was reading one yesterday about he's a big family guy, and just like what you see is what you get out of him. The headline of the article was, "Is he one of the most likable athletes?" And I that's what made me click on it and read it. It seems like he's, you know, what you see is what you get from him. You know, he loves his family, hardworking guy, good pro, really liked by his teammates. You know, lets his hair down, goes and enjoys himself. Like, that's a pretty likable athlete to me. You know,
yeah,
he's not
hear
being
you.
A phony.
I will say that it is pretty remarkable that he's a center and he's doing, like, promotional tours and commercials and stuff. And that's because of his last name. Like, that's because of his brother in large part. And I don't think there's any questioning that the Taylor Swift connection has exploded what the Kelce, like Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce were both going to the Hall of Fame. Like, I think Jason, it's difficult to evaluate a center, like the production level, but by all accounts, he's been the best center in football for a decade, if not the best, certainly one of the 2 or 3 best. And as a result, you know, people around football are saying this guy, he's going to the Hall of Fame. And we know Travis Kelce's going there. But now, and their podcast, I've only heard bits and pieces, but it's very well done. They obviously are really close. They're funny guys. They're good communicators. They tell stories. They're open and honest. They're self-deprecating. Like a lot of things you need to have a successful show, they bring. But he's a center. Like, he's not catching touchdowns. This guy's hiking the ball and battling for the line of scrimmage.
Hazy, you got to answer the question, which one Mahomes' wife likes more? And we'll let Johnny answer it. Being married to Mahomes or being BFFs with T Swift, man.
I might go T Swift because
Me
she
too.
is just
all damn day.
I'm
like
saying
she's
Mahomes.
on an island. There's nothing like her. Like she is so popular. She's
Like,
the most
imagine the
popular.
text to her friends in her old hometown saying, "Oh, nothing, just going out for drinks with Taylor Swift."
Yeah.
No, she wouldn't say Taylor Swift. She'd just go T or Taylor. Taze, my buddy Taze.
Yeah,
Like,
there
it would
might be a nickname. It's
a
possible.
nickname, but I still think it's Mahomes because he's got a chance to be the GOAT. Like,
Well, and hopefully
literally.
he's just
He
a
don't
good
care
guy.
about that, man.
Like, hopefully just a good guy that, she
You're
enjoys
right, like
sharing a
we're-
life with.
You know what? The
Exactly,
same
got
question
kids,
could be
Yeah.
same question for Hazy B. Working with me, becoming friends, or Tux?
Oh,
What
that's
do you
true.
like better? Golfing
I-
with Tux 3 times a week?
No
or working
comment.
with
I'm
me?
not going to. I don't want to pit the two of you against each other. That's not fair.
Ask
you
Johnny.
guys are two. I love both you guys, and I'm very, very happy to have both of you.
I
as
can
my
neither
friends.
confirm or deny that.
All right, here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. What's happening, Johnny?
Not too much. I'm just listening to this gong show, and Darcy Tucker, who is a lovely guy, as you will attest to, Hayes. You know who was traded for him, right?
Yeah, I know. I always
So-
think of that when we bring
So
you
as
in.
you're picking Darcy Tucker as your favorite human in the world, it doesn't make your next guest
At the
particularly
expense of
fun.
you being shipped to Tampa, Hayes is best friends with Darcy Tucker,
Darcy
Johnny.
Tucker Supernova arrived as I got shipped out of my hometown off a first-place team that went to the semifinals the year before to Tampa, the Frightening, and it was just a gong show for a couple of years. So, yeah, I'm glad you have a golf buddy, Hazy. That's
Well,
what matters most.
Listen, buddy, I consider you in my circle of friends, too. It's all worked out. Look at me. I'm just a man of the people. I've got all these connections with ex-Leafs. Why do you think I get into the alumni box? Why I feel so comfortable in there.
Well, listen, it's like you own the place. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and listen, Brittany Mahomes is happier to be married to the quarterback long term, but I think in this moment, she's really enjoying her new friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
like I think
T-Swift.
like if Patrick's like, hey, let's go for dinner, and then T Swizzle's like, let's go for dinner. Like I think she's going to New York for dinner. Like I don't think she's going to the Kansas City Steakhouse. Like I think
agree.
she's going to the Big Apple because
I
that's where
agree.
you go.
I don't think there's any disputing that.
No.
Johnny, were you in Montreal last night? I think you were calling
I
that
was.
game.
Yeah,
So
I was in Montreal.
we had a dispute yesterday where O tried to big time me because he played
Dude,
the NHL for
I gotta
12 years.
clarify. I gotta clarify this, Johnny. I'm not trying to dog Patrick Waugh. Okay, I just thought that he had already coached there in Colorado. They weren't going to put him on the jumbotron and say, "Welcome back again on a new team, Patrick."
Well, they
I
went
didn't
above and
think
beyond that, didn't they, Johnny? Like, what was that like? The anthem's going off. They got a Patrick Waugh montage. It was wild.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool in a very Montreal Canadian way. Like Montreal never misses these moments. You know, they are the best. Now they do it the most often, but they're the best at kind of capturing the right mood for whatever occasion is arising. And I thought they weren't going to do a welcome back because makes a good point. Like he's been there before. Like it's not like he hasn't coached there in Montreal before. Like he's returned multiple times, so it's not new. But I think just having him back in the NHL and the undertone of it was also when Marty St. Louis got the job, there was a thought that maybe Patrick Roy would be the appropriate person to get that job, given that he was coaching just up the road for the Quebec Empire. So I think I thought it was neat. Like the crowd really responded. It started with just a spotlight on his retired jersey. Then it went to the montage. Then it went to him on the bench. He looked kind of embarrassed, kind of sheepish, maybe a little emotional. Didn't want to be the center of attention, but he clearly was. It was a great couple minutes, and they never acknowledged it again. Like at no point in the game did they ever welcome anything back. It was just like, there he is. He's one of our guys, and he's back coaching the NHL. We're happy for him. It was really well done. Lots of energy, lots of emotion. Pretty fun game, actually, including one of the most one of the worst elbows I can remember.
That was ugly. Oh,
Like, just ridiculous. Like, it wasn't Shane Churla, Pavel Bure. But as far as in the modern era of the NHL, where, like, you know, nobody really intends to, like, smoke a guy in the head with an elbow, that was about as egregious as what I could remember. And he almost knocked him out. Brendan Gallagher coming across, got the chicken wing out, put his elbow right into the chin of Adam Pelech.
Dude, it looked like one of the Hansen hits, their first shift, where they're looking at the Hansons and they're just skating around, and there's one hit where the guy just absolutely clobbered the guy. It's like, what are you doing? That was a Hansen hit.
I mean, Johnny, is it in person? I didn't see. Is it in person?
It's 5 or less over the phone.
In the phone only. I guess McAvoy got 4 on Ekman Larson earlier, right? Like, it's always about precedent.
It's 4.
So it's 4 or 5. You can do 5 or less without without going in person. So maybe 5. Now, Brendan Gallagher's played 10 years. He's never been suspended. I think he's been fined once. So he's not a dirty player. It's not normal for him. But that was a ridiculously awful hit. Just a terrible decision, and he'll get his 4 or 5 games. And the Islanders tried to come back and scored 2 goals on that 5-minute power play to tie it. It was great stuff. Montembeault, 44-47. He's turned into a really pretty good goaltender in Montreal the last couple of years. So fun night. Patrick Roy's team lost in the end, but it was still always good when Montreal celebrates anything because they do it right.
Yeah, that elbow. I don't know what the explanation will be. That I guess he was just trying to. Obviously, they're going to say he was just trying to throw a hit, but it really open ice looked bad. He got the wing up, like you said.
Yeah, it's a pick. He's going sideways. Pelech's going forward. Pelech doesn't see him. He doesn't hit any part of his body but his head with his elbow. You know what he'll say? He's going to get on the phone, and they're going to so Brendan, explain yourself. And he's going to say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit him like that. My track record would suggest I'm not malicious that way. Yeah. And the other thing he'll say is hopefully you'll be lenient because I've been a clean player for 12 years. That's all he can say. There is zero, even on the most biased, when these things happen, right? Fan bases on Twitter or whatever, they never say that was really bad by our guy. It's always the guy moved, he wasn't watching his pass, and, he got him more shoulder than elbow. No, none of that at all from Montreal fans. Every person was like, nope, that was ridiculously awful, and he should and will get suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild.
I don't disagree.
The only thing he could say is the only thing he might say is I was tired, because he would look like he was tired at the end of a shift, and that guy's way bigger than me, and I felt I had to make contact, and at the last second, I just felt like I had to. I don't know what the hell he's going to say, man.
It was an egregious hit. Obviously, Johnny, you were there live. I saw it on Twitter right away, and then watched it afterwards. But it's an ill-timed hit, but it's a high hit, and regardless if it's shoulder or elbow, it's a chicken wing right to the head. It hits all the factors, and I'm surprised it wasn't in person, but based on maybe previous, if he gets 4 or 5, I think that's fair. If he gets a 2-banger, that's where I think it's, that's where people will have maybe something to say, or it'll be a little bit noisier. It has to be a higher game number, if you ask
5
me.
5 at most, I guess, right? It's probably going to be 4, maybe
but it's
5.
Probably 4 or something like that. The McAvoy hit was ugly too.
There's been bad hits, and there hasn't been a crazy massive suspension that I can recall, in recent years. Meanwhile, if that happened back when we were going through the Matt Cook stuff, that would have been 20 games last night when they were trying to eradicate that stuff from the game. But it was. It's interesting with Gallagher and his future. What do you see him He's obviously been a Hab his whole career. They love him there. Is he a guy that hangs on when they turn a corner in 2 or 3 years, or what?
I don't know. I think Brendan Gallagher should thank Mark Bergevin every day for giving him that contract before Bergevin left, because you could tell, because Brendan Gallagher played so hard, even though he was only 28 maybe when he signed it, that his body was quitting on him. Not his fault. He just plays so hard, there's nothing he can do about it. He's got 3 more years at 6.5, and he's 31 years old right now. He absolutely will not be playing for them 3 years from now when they're trying to contend for the playoffs or maybe do well in the playoffs. The question is, does he make it to the end of the contract? You don't want to get ahead of yourself, but he has a no move clause. So I don't know what they're going to do with him. It's tricky. It's tricky. He just can't play. He's a fourth liner on that team. A fourth liner. It's not like he's playing for the best team in the league. He's playing for a team that's one of the worst teams in the league, and he's still a fourth liner. Again, no fault of his own. His body just won't cooperate like it once did.
Well,
so yeah, I think they're kind of stuck with him because I don't know how they get rid of him.
I would argue, Johnny, now when you're looking at guys to sign into their 30s, would one of the indicators be their skating stride? Because the game is so fast, right? Reading out of Calgary, there's a debate about Noah Hannafin at 26. Hannafin's a great skater. So if Calgary signs him for a term, I wouldn't have a problem with the deal because in his 30s, he's still going to be an elite skater. Whereas, you mentioned Gallagher he comes to play every night, but the game, you have to catch up to the game to be effective. And that's where, you start looking. And you bring it back to the Leafs, like John Tavares' next contract probably be shorter term because, you look at him, what age is he going to be of his next deal? And you are seeing some erosion in skating and stuff like that. So it's just, I think that's the biggest thing. Guys that are north of 30, you've got to be careful on these contracts because the game is so fast. And if you fall behind pace, you can't be effective.
No, I mean, no matter how exceptional you are at everything else, if you can't skate, it's almost impossible to play in the NHL. Like, you can be bigger and stronger. It doesn't matter if you can't get there. You can have better puck skills and, be great with your hands. It doesn't matter if you can't get there. Like, you got to be at the bare minimum kind of league average skater. If you're not, you're hanging on. So yeah, absolutely. I think if I'm running a team, one of the considerations you look at when you're going to sign a guy a bit later in his career is, what kind of skater is this guy? Is he a fluid, effortless, smooth skater still with long strides? Okay, maybe he ages a little bit more gracefully as far as the skating goes. And if he's not, maybe it falls off a little quicker. So yeah, as far as Tavares goes, he'll be 34, 35 when he signs his next deal when it starts. Yeah, like 3 years, $4.5 million a year or something like that for a versatile guy who's not going to get quicker going forward. So these are the tough decisions that teams have to make. But when it goes wrong, unfortunately, and the legs go out on someone, it's so obvious, and it's there's nothing you can do about it. You can't make you can keep training hard like all these guys do, but you can't make your fast twitch muscles fast again. Just doesn't work that way.
They got to just do a. I don't know if the league would ever explore this, but they need one do-over per every
one get out of jail.
One get out of jail every summer. You can just pay a guy and say, "Here's your money. You're off the books. You're not against the cap, and goodbye." Like just for everything to try to make it easier, and teams make mistakes, and it just be. I think it'd be more excitement. Figure out something where you can just say, "Here's your money. Go away."
If you did that, how pissed would Bill Guerin be when he did that and he's had to chew on the salary for both of those guys he bought out, right?
Well, talk to Vancouver, right? Like, they signed Roberto Luongo in good faith, and all of a sudden they changed the rules, and they're getting cap or capture penalties after they changed the rules after they signed those guys. That doesn't seem fair at all either. But I'm with you. Any sort of softening of the cap would be welcome by everybody except the owners, because they don't want any money that's not going towards the 50%. They don't want any money out of the system because that's just more money out of their pocket. And of course, it will be where the smaller market teams saying, we can't afford to pay our guy to go away $20 million the way the Leafs or the Rangers or the Flyers or whoever can, and the haves and have-nots, which is, part of the reality of being in a business. If you're not as big as the other guys, you got to be smarter, you got to be better. You don't have the financial wherewithal to do things that maybe the bigger companies can. But you'd have an uphill battle getting that sort of rule passed at any league level.
Yeah, they're never going to do it. They locked you guys out for a full season so that they don't have to do it.
Right.
They would look at it as a slippery slope. Once you do it once, it's like, well, now just do this, and why don't you do that?
Right. Now let's have a franchise tag. Let's have Larry Bird rules. All these sort of things, and it's all ways to get more money in the system that won't count against the cap.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. And we mentioned Tavares. He's on a 9-game pointless streak. He has not had 2 points in a game since the middle of December. Man, I'm pulling for him tomorrow. Just get a second assist on a dump and change. What does that mean?
Sheet. That's not going to bring him back to the dead. Sometimes they always say if you bounce one off your ass, it'll kind of get you cooking. I don't know if it will.
Okay, I'm not even saying that he gets back. What I'm saying is he's going to go on break and come back, and then the questions will be, you've gone 10 games without a point. Do you think you get off it tonight? And I believe they come back and play the Islanders on the Monday night. I think that's their schedule. coming out of the All-Star break.
In Long Island or
no,
in Toronto?
in Toronto. It's in Toronto, but still, there's going to be New York media up here. Not that he cares necessarily, but he's got to. You're right. He's got to have a game. Like, he's got to look better on the ice. He's got to contribute. He should be capable of being a dominant force at times. And that would be ideal. Score a prototypical John Tavares goal. Make a move behind the net, get out in front and shelf it. That'd be great. But if not, like I said, dump and change, second assist. Get on the sheet tomorrow to end the streak.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, like, even last game against Winnipeg, no doubt Toronto was not good. But he had 7 shots. He had that one he picked out of the area. Like, just bang one home. Like, just give me something, right? Like, just give something break for him. But, you know, he talks about confidence being a choice. I don't think it's quite that easy. Like, yes, you can be stronger mentally. Yes, you can be positive. But at some point, when you don't get the positive feedback of points, goals, celebrations, contributions, not being a minus player, it does start to chip away. And I think he's at that point. The number that you talk about 2 points, Hazy, I think the number that, for me, I'm not exactly sure the date, but his last, like, 1 5-on-5 goal in, like, 20 games, 24 games. That, to me, is troubling. Because we knew that he was going to carry a lot of his points on the power play. And part two-pronged conversation, but, like, if he's not getting done 5-on-5, that's trouble. The other part about it is, what the hell's happened to the power play? It has looked not just not scoring. Like, listen, I get it. Ebbs and flows. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold. But there's cold not scoring, and there's cold not getting chances. And all of a sudden they look static and slow and sort of plodding on the power play, which is not what those 5 guys do on the ice. So I think they kind of go hand in hand, right? Like, if the power play...
Johnny, why do they keep putting them back out there? Why do they put those 5 guys out? I said it the other day. It's like, you want to sit them on the bench. That I get it, they sat him, but they just put the same unit back out there. Maybe John's play doesn't warrant playing on the first power play unit right now. Sorry.
Well,
and I know that would be a way to...
Though.
Pardon?
He never touches the puck in the power play. It's not even his duty to make it go. Like, he's sort of the mop-up guy, puck retrieval, net front. Like, he rarely touches it. Because the other 4 guys that dance around, and he's sort of stationary in front. So I would say if they're having trouble creating stuff, he's the least responsible for that of the 5 guys out there.
Fine, you want to keep them on, do something different. If they're going to go out there and continue to struggle like that, doing the same things, I can't understand how you go with that same setup. Johnny, you were a power play guy, so was I.
Mm-hmm.
How many times in practice when it was garbage power play would be like, Johnson, O'Neill, you go down there with the schleps and work it around with those guys because you're not on the big unit anymore. Because it's not working. You got to do something different.
Are you guys seeing something though? Like I've seen coaches I didn't mind them being benched the other night. But
me neither, Jamie.
But here's the thing. I'd like to see them simplify it and get to work. Like, it's brush the snow off, fancy schmancy, and hey, I need a perfect pass through here. We all know you need to simplify the game when you're struggling. It's get it back to the point, get to the front of the net, get an ugly one, redirect, spread out coverage. Like, it's no secret what the power play is. Find holes, be creative. But if you're trying to be too finesse, and that's what they're looking for, the perfect pass, hey, we're going to get our look. We got to get Matthews their look over here and Willie over here. And, like, to me, it's get an ugly one. Get your entry, get set up. That's what they need, and then they'll get their confidence going and spread out that penalty kill. But to me,
it's times like these, Noodles, they need a slap shot presence where it's like a cannon back there, where it gets everybody frightened, and it's like, oh boy, here comes something. And Morgan Riley's great at moving the pill back there, but if you've got like a heavy 1T back there, and then everything kind of scrambles from there, and then you create chances.
Exactly.
And they do, especially when you're struggling, it's a great way to start. It's like, get it back there and hammer it on net. And somebody's either going to score, create a chance, and then you dig it out after a rebound, and then you get everyone scrambling. Having that shot presence back there is a great way when you're in a funk to establish it and get started.
Because it forces you to move. Because it forces you to chase the puck when it goes to the net. Like, when I watch them play now, it feels like, I get it. Morgan Riley skates up slowly, then he dumps it back to Matthews and Marner, and they're very creative and amazing at getting in the offensive zone. But it just feels slow. And as good as those guys are, as a guy who killed penalties as well, like, if you know what guys are trying to do and they do it slowly, you have a pretty good chance of stopping them, no matter how talented they are. And it just feels slow. And if you just sort of simplified shot, retrieval, scramble, shot, retrieval. Maybe it doesn't look quite as pretty, but it makes you move, and it makes the puck move faster because you're kind of under duress chasing it. And that's, to me, like, and then it starts to go, and then the tempo picks up, and then seams open up, and then all the talent in the world that they have out there makes it much better. But like, I think, having covered the games and knowing how much the top guys depend on the power play to sort of feed their offense and feed their confidence, Nylander like that, Tavares is certainly a guy like that. They need the power play to help feed their 5-on-5 legs, and the power play runs dry. It's not surprising to see the 5-on-5 stuff dry up for them as well. So that's the other part of it for Tavares specifically, because he's not doing nearly what he did last year on the power play as far as production.
Yeah. What do you make of Corey Perry jumping on a moving train tomorrow night? 15 straight for Edmonton, and sounds like Perry's going to make his debut.
Don't screw it up.
Yeah.
Do not mess it up. Don't bug the regulars. Don't bug the routine. Keep your mouth shut at lunch. Like, I tell you what, like, I would be inclined to not even put him on. Like, I would wait till after the All-Star break.
No kidding.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Like, just ride it out, and then if everyone gets 10 days off, then it's like you're starting fresh anyways. Dump him in the first game afterwards. But, he'll be fine on the ice. Seems like he's got a pretty clear head about getting back playing and not going to be bothered by the circumstances of his departure of Chicago. Maybe it's a good thing that they're so good that he just kind of, there's no pressure to do anything other than not mess up. But I would not play him on Saturday. Tomorrow, Saturday? Yeah, I would not play him tomorrow. I would make him. I would wait him out until until post All-Star break when it kind of resets everything.
Yeah, he's like, even in warm-up, he blows a wheel, runs into McDavid.
Right. Where do I walk you out?
Can you imagine?
Do I go last? Do I go third last? Well, hang on. These two guys go back-to-back. Where do I fit in? The whole thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can't be the moped guy with Usain Bolt. Like, you can't do it, man. You just got to stay out of the way.
The 4x4 relay, and he drops the baton.
He was riding a Segway.
It was a Segway, that's right.
Usain Bolt.
A Segway, and that guy buried Usain Bolt.
Blows his Achilles.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was wild, man. And anyway, it's all good. We'll see what comes of it tomorrow night. All right, Johnny. Well, enjoy your weekend, buddy, and we appreciate you doing this as always.
All right, boys. Have a good weekend.
There's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Check out Maple Toyota's huge truck and SUV lineup, including Tundra, 4Runner, Highlander, and Grand Highlander in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com.
We got to get the Segway video.
Yeah,
I forgot about
video.
that. That guy runs his leg over, doesn't he?
It's really bad. Like, it looks like Bolt has blown out every ligament in both knees. And this guy, he's trying to get like a selfie with him or something. He's out there. It's just
remember the other right at the knees.
Yeah, he takes him out. He runs into the side rail and then like buckles and turns and then bails and takes him out. And the thing is, like, they were both fine. Oh, here it is. Look at this guy. Oh God, boom. Oh.
And that's right after gold.
Yes, he's walking down like he's waving. He's waving to the crowd, and this guy blows a wheel.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Oh,
really
I don't know how Usain Bolt. My first reaction, accident or not, would be to absolutely cold-cock that guy.
You'd be
like
so
split his
mad.
forehead wide open, just because it's like, how stupid could you be? If the guy in the white T-shirt's not there, I think he would want us to just sucker that guy because it's just like anything else. It's like, how could you be so stupid?
Obviously, it's an accident. I mean, the guy runs into it, but it's like,
I get it, man.
You got to be looking, man. Like you got to know if you're on one of those things. That's a weapon. Like that, you could take someone out literally at the knees, and you did that to the most insured knees on earth, the most valuable knees in the world, were Usain Bolt in his prime, and that guy basically did everything he could to end his career.
There's got to be a top 10, because wasn't it the Tour de France with that car with the guy with the camera out the car and they ran into him, right?
Same thing. The guy, they weren't looking and they basically almost ran him over. I think like there was a serious. And then at the Tour de France, like you guys know, when they're in the back roads and stuff, there's no room and there's like 100 bikers and they just started trampling over each other.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you get a backlog and then all of a sudden it's just it starts to build up.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, moped guy. You don't want to be moped guy. And
Yeah.
the thing is about moped guys, clearly he was fine, but he could have had a really bad injury, and he would have had to just get up and been like,
Yeah.
I got to get out of here. I cannot lay here. Like, I cannot be here right now.
That guy loses his job, do you think? Or is he still employed today, you think?
I don't think he does. I don't think he's. It's just like, hey, the thing
an accident,
malfunctioned.
right?
It's an accident.
I mean, you got one job, dude. If you're the moped guy, you can't run into the athlete. You know, like it's day one on the job. If you're going to be moped guy, you can't use the moped as a weapon for the athletes.
Runs right into him and buries him.
I think that I don't know. I don't know if he's out there anytime soon. Anyway, thanks to Mike Johnson, our TSN Hockey analyst. And we should point this out, that every day this week we've been announcing current and former Maple Leaf players in our Maple Leaf lineup. And the first caller through right now, well, I should announce the final player. Jason Spezza is the final player. Jason Spezza. Call us now at 416-870-1050. 416-870-1050. Jason Spezza is your fifth and final Leaf Player of the Week. We're giving away tickets to see the Leafs play the Stars, and we're throwing in a $250 Vanilla Visa prepaid card with each pair of tickets to make it the ultimate game night. Vanilla Visa prepaid cards are available for purchase at Petro-Canada. 416-870-1050. Luke Wilson, Al's brother, Dear Hazy B, all still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4. Mail It In Fridays brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. From touchdowns to tie bites and puck drops to pizza, BP's elite lineup of apps, wings, and ice cold beers always dialed in for game time. Hustle into your local BP tonight. My wife and kids are at Boston Pizza right now, watching the show with no volume on. We're urging them, jack the volume and see what you could do to ruin everyone's meal, and just have us yelling and screaming about Freddie the GOAT and how many goals he has in the Swiss League, and a lot of good, I think, dinner time conversation. That's what we try to supply here.
I got a note, guys, from somebody saying, since we're circling back on old segments, are we going to see a toilet seat player? Do you remember? Was there a toilet seat, some form of like?
I don't even remember that.
The toilet bowl or toilet seat? I swear there was.
Well, I guess I don't feel like laying a toilet seat on everybody.
I'm gonna flush you, bastard.
Toilet Seat Tuesday.
I was just saving.
Whose
that was
voice
Fergie.
was that?
That was Fergie's voice.
Scott
No,
Ferguson?
it was Ray. That was Ray.
I know.
Ray off the top, but who said
play it
Toilet
again?
Bowl Tuesday?
No, I don't want to play it again. Just I want Toilet Bowl Tuesday is Scott Ferguson.
Wow.
Toilet Seat Tuesday.
I was just saving.
I think you're right. That is Fergie.
That is.
That was Fergie.
That is Fergie.
Wow. Okay, so we got that from Ray. Yeah, that was Ray off the top. I wonder what we asked him to provoke that kind of answer. He was not happy. Listen to him. Play the start. Play Ray. And I can picture this. This is me grilling him, being like, well, wait a minute, though. You just said.
You know what? If he was he had to do 25 minutes a day with us. And if he wasn't in the mood, man, watch out.
When he was flying around and it was like he had to go from L.A. to Carolina and, stop in Chicago and then land and answer our questions almost immediately. This is what we would get. Play it, JP.
Oh, my God. Well, I guess I don't feel like laying a toilet seat on everybody.
I'm gonna flush you, bastard.
Toilet Seat Tuesday.
I was just saving.
There you go. I had forgotten about that one. I did not remember
that's
that.
Just.
That is, I don't know what we ended up doing with it.
I don't really remember either. I guess maybe we called people out, like something we didn't like about a certain play or a game or whatever.
That's
I'm not
tough,
sure.
though. Like toilets, like you could see Toilet Seat Monday, where guy had a tough weekend, something like that. Like,
well, we probably had a different stupid bit that we were already doing on Mondays, so we had to save it for Tuesday. Yeah, exactly. You guys see, Luka was on TNT last night and basically said, "My bad, shouldn't have got that fan kicked out of the game," and which I found interesting. Yeah, and he did say, it's. I think we have the clip. JP, let me know if we have it, where he, I believe, was saying, basically, when I'm wrong, I can admit it. But then he tried to kind of double down. Why don't we just play it? Luka was on set with the NBA on TNT last night.
I was really frustrated. We were losing. I twisted my ankle in the second half, in the first half. It was just a lot of emotions. But yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. So When I'm wrong, I admit it, so probably shouldn't have done that. But it was just the whole game going on.
You want me to show you what to do when somebody get on your nerves?
I was going to ask Chuck.
Go ahead.
Hey, don't hurt this man. He got the All-Star game to play.
So basically admits was frustrated, emotional. We were losing.
Hey, full props for someone in this day and age to say, you know what, I was just being a baby and I screwed up. But where does that leave the fan? Like, the fan's going to be what? Like, you better throw me some season tickets. You could toss me for no reason.
Well, season tickets is a stretch.
Maybe not season tickets, but
come on, I think I would be asking for season tickets, man. You hurt my feelings.
I think the fans got a legit gripe with the NBA, though. I think this is maybe not a Luka Doncic issue, but the NBA saying, hey, this shouldn't happen. You were a paying customer, and a player just all of a sudden decided you have to go because he was pissed with the way he was playing. Like that, you can't have that. You cannot have that
you're right.
Available to players to just say, I'm not in the mood. That guy's got to go because I don't like him.
But did the guy yell something or nothing?
Well, he yelled like, get on the treadmill, you look tired or something. Like just a chirp that is not,
chirp. Yeah, nothing,
it's not offside.
Crossing
like, that's
lines or
totally
anything.
reasonable.
Yeah. You know what? Own it. But he's getting a signed jersey and an apology or a handshake. That's it. You're not getting season tickets out of that.
I don't think he's getting.
He didn't get tased and chicken winged out of there, did he? It
no.
Sounds like they just asked him to leave.
Yeah, they asked him to go hang out in the corridor, basically. I think they just said you can't be by the court anymore. Is it cool if you just go hang out? So that's even the security guard being like, we don't think you really did anything that bad. But the players asked for it. Again, alluding to the fact that the players, appear to have this much power to be able to do that, which is pretty wild. But yeah, you make a good point. He showed up, he owned it. He's like, shouldn't have done that. Okay, cool. Like it's not like you need some referendum on the sport or on Luka. You move on and it's all good. And what's amazing is like those guys, they're all like Luka's 6'7", Chuck's 6'5", 6'6". Shaq makes them look like they're 5'7". Like you show that picture again. I don't know if you can, Joe, from the bridge, but Shaq
he's
makes
just way bigger than all of them.
He's just a massive human being. And then on top of that, like Wembanyama's like 6 inches taller than Shaq. Like he's not nearly as thick, obviously. Like Shaq is like that's the crazy thing about Shaq is he's 7 feet and he's like 350, shredded. Like imagine battling for position with prime Shaq. It just is. You just can't even imagine battle. Like you have to fight this guy off in the paint. He's 7 feet tall, 350 pounds.
I just can't imagine
shredded.
like what a dude that big. Like what is his pregame meal? Like is he just taking the tray of pasta with meat sauce right up to his room and eating the whole thing? Like
I don't know.
7 foot, 350, athletic. You gotta eat, man. What is that guy eating
Forget
for pregame?
Before the game. What about after the game when he hasn't eaten anything in 6 hours and he just worked out? He just played 40 minutes.
Yeah,
do you know what he must do when he gets to a dinner table at 10 p.m. after a game?
Well, I guess I don't feel like laying a toilet seat on everybody.
Come on, flush, you bastard.
Exactly.
That's what we're talking about. Like Shaq, I would love to play size on him post-game. What was he up to? After triple OT in the playoffs, what was Shaq doing? News has come in here. Brendan Gallagher has been suspended 5 games. So he got the full 5.
Sounds about right. I mean, first-time offender, but awful play. Like it's, you could argue 5.
Sounds about right, Noodles, but it's like if they ever, I go back to Ray, it's like if they ever want to make a statement that says that is never happening in this league again, throw a 10 spot at him and just say, guys, this flying elbow garbage, WWF wrestling. And I love Gallagher. I love him as a player. I love the heart and soul. I love his career, and I love what he stands for. And he's an old school guy. But to have that not being an in-person hearing, I find to be insane.
Well, and especially since they gave him 5, it's almost like they
just said
phoner and then saw the blowback and like, oh man, we got to give him the 5 now. Yeah. Like now we have to go all the way to the limit.
Yeah, and it goes back to the non-hockey play. That's that has nothing. Like they always say, we got to get the non-hockey play. Well, what the hell's that?
That's a scenario that you can program players to, because historically it was that guy's flying through the middle of the ice. I got to get a piece to slow him down. Like
Right.
that's like the defensive minded, programming of players is this guy's flying through the neutral zone. I'm the guy that's there. I got to hit him. I got to slow him down. That's something that I think they should put more of an emphasis on, like get that thought out, like not if it's like going dangling and whatever, but that was like between the blue line and the red line was serious pace, and Gallagher knew he couldn't get the puck or anything, and he's like, I got to stop him, so I'm going to throw my elbow up, and that's the result you get.
There's no like that. To me, that wasn't a play. Like, he launched at him and elbow, forearm shiver, whatever you want. Like, he distributes the puck. Like, Pelech doesn't think he's going to get hit on that play at all. Like,
no,
he's not
exactly.
And, Gallagher's going to say, well, I wanted to finish my check or whatever. The puck was gone, and, like, it's a headshot. It just checks all the boxes in the wrong way of what you're trying to do and get it out of the game. 5 is steep, though. Let's not forget. But you're right. Like, if you want to send messages, it's steep. Like, moving forward, like, that's the norm. It's 5 or more and that type of stuff. I didn't like the hit whatsoever, and there's no defending it. Like, there's just
and that's why if it was 10, would anyone be surprised? I mean, if there's no defending it, then it's kind of. I hate the conversations revolving around the exact number. No one knows what is going to appease everyone. What is the right?
No, but if that guy
message.
was in tough shape and he had to go right to the hospital and it was a mess, that would be 10.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
that's probably true.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gallagher, he's paid a price here for sure. I mean, it could have been more without question, and if it was, I don't think people would have been surprised by that. But yeah, Brendan Gallagher gets 5 games. All right, Luke Wilson in 20 minutes. Al's brother coming up as well. The picks they're forthcoming. It's almost go time. We got the Niners, Lions. We got Chiefs and Ravens. This is it. Team Owen Wilson, you guys got to have a perfect weekend. You have to pick winners, and you got to put us in a spot where we pick a loser.
Well, I don't think it's do or die, Hayes, because I think this is all going to come down to the Super Bowl. There's so many things happening at the Super Bowl where that is going to be everything on the line.
Absolutely. And, FanDuel's going to have so many different props that we're going to play. And, we'll play off FanDuel's, whatever the line is, whatever the total is, quarterback props, wide receiver props, running back props. There's a lot of points on the line.
Anthem length, all of
I
that
think we
fun
could
stuff.
supply that as well. Yeah, I don't listen. Al's brother and I will do whatever anyone wants. We are here to party. We are
Did
here
I
to perform in
Did
the
I hear
playoffs.
somebody say that you and Al's brother were at a gathering?
Yeah, we were at a gathering last night. We were down at Real Sports, and Al's brother and I were having a conversation about the picks. And what I noticed was it's like a scene out of a movie. People just kept surrounding us, like just to eavesdrop on us talking about our picks and our process.
Really?
And TG
A crowd built.
crowd. It just started building, like slowly but surely. It was like, wow, this is kind of like a scene out of Good Will Hunting or something, because TG was coming to life, in front of people. So it was really cool, and I was glad that we got to, supply that type of experience for people last night.
Me too.
As you should. As you should. All right, Luke coming up. Dear Hazy B coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, TSN 1050 wants you to be our unofficial correspondent at the grittiest sports party of the year. Call us right now, 416-870-1050. 416-870-1050. The first caller through with the correct keyword announced this morning on First Up wins a $100 Golf Town gift card and qualifies for the grand prize draw, which includes a trip for 2 to Scottsdale, Arizona, a 4-night hotel stay, 2 tickets to the closing weekend at the Waste Management, an additional $1,000 Golf Town gift card, custom full bag fitting at Golf Town Studio X, and $500 cash to spend on the trip. Full contest details available at tsn1050.ca. This contest is getting a lot of buzz. Like we were down at Real Sports with
Dude, it's the best giveaway of all time.
It's unbelievable. And FanDuel had us down, TSN. We were all down there last night. And Bob Weeks was there. Adam Scully was there. Both of them were like, what's with that giveaway? Like, that is nuts. Like, when Bob Weeks is paying attention to a giveaway, we're talking serious stuff. So,
yeah, and FanDuel, I'm begging you, next year, I got a great idea. 16th hole overdrive on the actual hole for the week.
right there while they're putting out and playing. And
No,
everything.
it's just like the Golf Channel's got us set. Just put us anywhere. Who cares? It'll be just great. There's a bunch of Canadian golfers out there that play in the tournament. Get
I'll
some
take
people,
the range,
contest,
man.
private
Anything.
bird.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I'll say this: the leaderboard at Torrey, it's not good. I mean,
it's not. But
it's not about pumping the tires of Live, because it's not that I'm going to go. I don't care for Live. I don't care for the product the way that it operates. But with Live taking so many guys, you get leaderboards like this on the PGA Tour.
They want to see John Rahm in third place at that tournament.
Yeah. Well, there of the 48 Live players, there's 20 to 25 big names there. At least 5 of them would be in contention at Torrey. You know what I mean? It's just like DJ would be there, or Koepka would be there, or Rahm, who loves Torrey Pines and has won this tournament before.
Well, you said it the other day, man. I'd rather watch it with a leaderboard of unknowns than watch Live Golf. I'm not watching that nonsense.
I don't disagree
it's even
with you.
broadcast horribly.
I agree. And listen, you and I are golf freaks. I'll watch, but it's Mick Jagger in the lead and Thomas Dietrich, and it's not a.
I need a Homa. I need a Rory sniffing around.
Yeah.
I just need Tyrrell Hatton somewhere around there.
Right. Canadian content would be great. Pendrith is, I think, top 10. So, like Taylor Pendrith, that'll work for us. But beyond that,
Canadian
you got to have some names. Got to have it. All right, final hour coming up. The picks are upcoming. Luke Wilson will finally return. I don't know where Luke's been, but all of a sudden he's going to resurface and join us in the next hour. Al's brother as well. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.